Please welcome Angela Neria, Vice President of Technology and CIO of Pittsburg State University, and Jacob Thomas, EVP and Managing Partner of Drivestream.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Great to be here. My name again is Jacob Thomas, Executive Vice President and Managing Partner at Drivestream. It's great to be here at Alliance 2025. And it's also great to be here sitting with someone who's been in the forefront of a cloud transformation journey. And please join me in welcoming Angela Neria, CIO of Pittsburg State University.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jacob. Great to be here.
Cloud has been out there for the last 2 decades, at least for the last 20 years. Commercial industry has been the early adopter of cloud. And since then, we've come a long way. It's interesting that higher ed has just picked up in the last few years the adoption of cloud. And the things that you just heard a few minutes ago about AI and such has been a topic lately in many conferences, and obviously it's well known in the industry. But since then, what we realize is the cloud is the foundation for all the emerging technologies. So we're going to talk about a little bit about the journey that Pittsburgh PSU has taken this journey over the next few minutes. Angela, if you would like to quickly introduce yourself, and I know your folks are here, and about your institution as well.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, Jacob. I'm really excited to be here and share a little bit about our journey. I'm from Pittsburg State University in Pittsburg, Kansas. There's no H. There's no H on the end of our Pittsburgh. And we are a regional institution located in southeast Kansas. We have around 6,000 students, and this will be important later. Our mascot is Gus the gorilla, and that will be important later in the conversation.
So let's start by setting the stage, Angela. Taking on a journey that no one else has done before. You were the first institution to adopt cloud, and there isn't any reference or something to look to. It requires leadership, some grit and boldness to get into something new. And something drove you and your institution to do that. What was the driver behind that?
Yes, that's all really true. And really the driver behind it is we have an old legacy system that we've had for about 3 decades, homegrown, named Gus, after our mascot. GUS is an acronym for Gorilla User System, and that system has code in it from as old as 3 decades ago, and we knew we needed to change, right? We're facing a time where we weren't mobile enough, we weren't data-driven enough, we didn't have the tools to do the analytics that we wanted, and frankly, we were facing some real security issues with cyber threats that weren't in existence when GUS was developed 3 decades ago.
Awesome. So you've come a few years now since then, implemented HCM cloud and ERP cloud. Looking back, what would you say were some of the major struggles and hurdles that you ran into?
Yeah, we really, like I said, GUS was a homegrown system, and it was really built around our processes and our traditions at our university. Lots of loyalty to GUS. And GUS, we love GUS. GUS is great, but GUS has done his job and then some. And so we really faced this need to work with our campus and educate them on the need to move to something more modern and away from this homegrown, very highly customized system. So we focused a lot on how do we tell that message, working really closely with our marketing team on, using the same language across campus to let our campus know why it was important to make this change. focusing on change management, which is something many of us had never done before.
Yeah.
Because we hadn't had to. We had lived with this system that we could do whatever we needed to do with many talented developers, and so those were new to us, and they were big challenges for us. And getting that message out was huge.
Yeah, so we at Drivestream, we've done about 300 or so cloud implementations, and many of our folks come back to tell us that two major things that have been hurdles and challenges. One is that change management that you're talking about for sure. There's a non-technical challenge and there's a technical challenge. And the non-technical, it has been change as PSU has experienced. And on the technical side, it's been a data conversion. It's been, a modernization project turns into a data cleanup project. These have been the two that we have experienced. So thank you for bringing that up on the change management. In fact, we are going to talk more about this top risks. There's a session that's happening at 11 o'clock today. We will talk more about that as well. So fast forward to today, where we are, from where you started a few years ago with HCM and ERP, and now you're taking on another bold step, student cloud. Student information SaaS on the cloud with student information system. I know it's, you've gone through that excitement of being the first one as a state university. Now you have student cloud as the first one. How's that experience coming along?
It's going really well, and I think the reason that it is because we've had that experience with HCM, ERP, and SFP. Having that experience back in 2017, and really at that time, we didn't have an implementation partner. There was no roadmap, and there were very few institutions, very few early adopters doing both of those things at the same time. So it really was that old analogy of building a plane in flight. It felt that way. Oracle was awesome to work with, great support, but they were learning too. Yeah. So this time feels different. It feels, we have more early adopters to work with. Oracle's been down this road before, and we have awesome implementation partner to work with you all in Drivestream, and filling the gaps that we're seeing with our partners at Drivestream. It just feels better. It feels very much more achievable. We got the other one done, but I'm telling you, there were some days that I think we were all concerned about, are we ever going to get there? And it feels different this time.
Yeah. The big change I noticed with you and Pittsburg State University specifically is that this time, although it's a bold step you're taking, you're not doing it alone. You have a few other institutions alongside with us who are, as a cohort, sharing the pains, joys, and sorrows of going through this process with a good vision of going live sometime next year on a student cloud.
Exactly.
That will be a great accomplishment for your institution as well. And for the industry as a whole, much of the higher ed industry is standing by on the sidelines waiting to see how this is progressing. So, and I think much of the adoption, as I mentioned earlier, higher ed has been behind in picking up because of student. And so now with you leading the way, you're opening up doors for others to pick up, which is good. So thank you, PSU, for being that pioneer again. Now, for the institutions going to the cloud or migrating to the cloud haven't even started the journey, what would you advise them? A couple of things that you would want to talk about.
A couple things. First of all, really intrinsically taking a look at yourself, whether it's a SWOT analysis or whatever you want to do, figuring out where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, and how you're going to shore up those weaknesses. For us, our strength is that we have amazing people. We have an amazing team. Our developers are just, they're amazing. I can't say enough about them. And then all of the functional folks that we work with on our campus are also incredibly knowledgeable. They know their areas and they're student focused. So that was a real strength for us. We have weaknesses in that we've never done anything like this before. We only know our homegrown system. We have lots of practices on our campuses that are not best practices, and we throw a lot of obstacles in the way of our students. And that's what we wanted to do with this new system with Oracle. Remove those obstacles. So working with Drivestream, learning from other universities, shoring up those weaknesses has been huge.
Yeah, and so I would say that you can have perfect technology. Let's assume that worked out all perfectly. Perfect technology, perfect implementation, perfect execution, and therefore you have a good system. Even after that, the system is ready, but the organization may not be. And that's what you're alluding to, a lot of these things that you're running. And leave alone that the first three things which I mentioned is rare to occur, perfect execution. and on top of that, you have, even with all that being perfect, you still have a system that is awesome and ready, yet the organization is not. And that's all have to come together and converge together. So that's an important point as well. Now, in terms of the long-term impact, I know you, especially now with ERP, finance, and student all being in the cloud, what do you see as the long-term impact from Pittsburg State University perspective? What do you see for the industry as a whole?
Well, long-term impact, what I see is not just for us, or not just for the industry, but also for us that's going to be new and different, is we're going to truly have the data and the analytics that we have long needed to make great decisions for our students. And so that's going to be a real pivot for our campus. It's going to be a different way of operating. I think that we're going to see less obstacles in the way of students, which our old systems and old practices and policies are contributing to right now, and a much more student-focused transformative experience, because technology's in the background doing its job. It's not in the way, and that's what we want for our students.
Yeah. The next wave of technologies, whether it's AI, we've been hearing a lot about that, virtual reality, blockchain, and now quantum computing. These are all new technologies coming down the pike, and cloud seems to be the foundation for all of that. So as much as we think this is breaking ground, it's really foundation for everything that's coming down the pike. So that's truly an important step. It's been great for the quick conversation here and getting some insights about your journeys. Thank you for sharing. Any closing thoughts that you would like to share?
Well, thank you for having me. I would just say it's uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable is okay. It usually means that you're growing. And I think taking that leap and getting into that level of where you're just not sure and a little bit uncomfortable is okay. It's going to push you to stretch and grow.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And thank you, Angela.
Thank you. Thanks, Jacob.
Bye-bye.